Hey, so for today's training, first of all, this is going to be all the way through. There's no cuts, no edits. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how you can go from macro tracking and dieting and the yo-yo dieting cycle into mindful eating and food freedom in order for you to be able to reach your weight loss goals and sustain it long term. It's time to ditch the diets and finally get to the point where you feel really confident in your body and with food. So, before we get into the training, I want to kind of tell you a little bit about who I am. You're probably wondering, who is this person? So, I have been a coach since 2017. I started out, I was an ex-athlete growing up, ex-bodybuilder, and I started out teaching more restrictive dieting plans because that's what was working for me at the time. And then I transitioned into macro tracking, but I realized that my clients weren't sustaining results long term, that they would end up, falling back into old habits. And so that's when I finally started teaching mindful eating. And I've been teaching that since oh man, I can't even remember, at least the past 3 years. And I've had so many clients come back to me and say, like, Faith, I am still sustaining my results. I've never experienced this before with a program in the past. And so, yeah, I absolutely love teaching this because it's something that's really sustainable for all of my clients. And even years after working with me, they're still able to be successful. So, that's a little bit about me. And so the next part I want to go into is I want to share a little bit about some of the clients that I've worked with in the past to prove a little bit about, yeah, what my clients have experienced so that you can see what's possible for you too, because you don't truly know what you can have unless you try something new, right? So I'm going to share a couple of testimonials here and I'm going to share my screen. So the first one I want to share is my girl Jackie. So Jackie, she is a busy mama of two. She said, I'm finally at the point where I don't binge or weigh myself anymore. I feel more connected with my body and food. I learned a lot from this. She used to be obsessed with the scale, but now she doesn't worry about the number on the scale and she just enjoys the foods that she loves. And she's able to sustain her weight loss long term. Another one is Kate. I'm not obsessing with good versus bad foods anymore. The most important takeaway is you don't need to count macros, weigh yourself daily, or do excessive cardio to change your body. Enjoying foods I love in moderation. So she was struggling mentally with her body image and just her mindset around food. And it was really keeping her stuck in the yo-yo dieting cycle, which I'm sure you probably relate to, that you always find yourself going back to another diet, especially when you're struggling with weight loss. So she was in that cycle, but now she's finally enjoying foods that she loves and she hasn't gone back to dieting since. I last worked with her in 2020, so 3 years ago. And, we catch up every once in a while, and she's still on that track, which is really amazing. A couple others, Carolina. So she finally stopped binge eating. So she said, it feels so good to allow myself to be in tune with what my body needs and not binging. So that's the difference with mindful eating, is that you're not in a place where you have to restrict your food. You actually get to have freedom with what you get to eat. But your body, responds really well to it because you're honoring your body with food instead of saying, I can't have this. Hers was amazing. Another one, Brienne. No longer restricted. I feel great, not feeling restricted. I'm learning that a perfect diet is not a diet, but rather eating foods that nourish and work well with our bodies. So that's that one. Sienna, I'm actually going to share more on her testimony here in a second, but she says, I'm more aware of not feeling like I have to finish everything on my plate, just eating till I feel satiated and leaving the rest for later. It's starting to become more of a habit than a chore to remind myself of this. And my pants are too baggy on me now. Yay. So, she's also another client who she stopped working with me about a year ago because she was so ready to like spread her wings and fly. And not only has she continued to lose weight, she's probably lost 30 to 40 pounds since we worked together. And now she's sustaining her weight loss on her own successfully. And I have some more transformation photos to show you with her. She came to me just stuck, feeling like she didn't know what habits to adopt. She couldn't figure out a workout routine that worked for her. She couldn't figure out a diet that worked for her. She did keto, she did low carb, Weight Watchers, all of the things, and it just kept her in the cycle. And my girl Tracy, she was a chronic restrictive dieter for over a decade, and now she's a mindful eater. So she used to obsess over the number of calories and macros that she had to track. Now she's feeling so much freedom and minimally tracking while continually losing fat. So these are just a couple of clients with testimonials. So I wanted to go a little bit deeper into Sienna. So these were her progress photos. This was her first set of progress photos, and she didn't give me, permission to share these. But this is where she started. She was feeling defeated, just not confident in her body. And she's like, it's not even just about my body, it's about how I feel. No energy, lethargic, always constantly worried about what food she was eating. But I want to show you where she is now. So this is where she was right before she started working with me. Same thing with that progress photo. And this is where she was a week ago. Just living her best life. You could just see there's more life in her face. She has more energy. She feels more confident. And again, it's not just about the physical transformation. It's about where she's at mentally, her relationship with food, the way that she views her body and fitness. And she made it a lifestyle instead of another temporary fix when she had tried diets for, 3 to 5 years. So it's really, really cool to see this. And then a couple more that I'll share with you here. And then I'll get into the training for you. So these are a couple within the first week, I could see results. So biggest problem areas are stomach and legs. Within a short amount of time, I can already see them leaning out and I could feel myself getting stronger. The best part was that I got to eat so much food every day and still see such incredible changes. I no longer feel like I'm starving myself, which is a huge thing because under eating, if that's something you're struggling with too, this can help you so much to feel so much more clarity and for your body to actually work in the way that it needs to, which I'll go more into in the training. And the last one, feel like a totally different person. I've completely changed my eating habits, not because I feel like I had to, but because my relationship with food has completely turned around. My mindset has changed, and I'm so, so happy in my own skin. So these are just a handful of testimonials out of the hundreds that I could share with you. So with that, I'm sure you are now wondering, how do we get from where these people are at, or maybe it's something that you're struggling with and you relate to some of these, you're just feeling stuck and you really just want that freedom in your body with food in your fitness journey. So I'm going to share with you a couple of pointers on how we can go from constantly yo-yo dieting to mindful eating, ditch macro tracking, and finally have food freedom. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen yet again because I am a very visual person and I feel like most people are. So here are a couple of ways that we can get from where you're at now, point A, all the way to point B. Not the prettiest thing I've ever drew, but but that's okay. So I'm going to share 4 key pillars with you to help you get from macro tracking to mindful eating and food freedom. So the first thing you're going to need is accountability. So this is having, one-on-one help so that when you have something personalized, you actually are more likely to be successful than if you were to have a one-size-fits-all, because anybody can go on YouTube or Instagram, find free workouts, free nutrition plans. Of course, it can help short term, but if it's not actually personalized to you, it's not going to work long term. So having accountability, you are 10 times more likely to show up and you feel more motivated and excited to do the work because you're going to have more confidence in knowing that it's actually going to work for you. So that's the first piece that you're going to need. The second piece that you need is the mindful over macros framework. You need a framework that's actually going to work, not just another diet to follow, not just, another set of calories. You need to learn what or how to eliminate guilt around food, enjoy foods you love, and ditch restriction. When you do these things, you're actually going to put less stress on your body. When you put less stress on your body, it will your body allows itself to actually do the things and function in the way that it should function, which in turn helps you naturally lose weight effortlessly. Call me crazy, but this truly does work. And so in your nutrition, it's learning what are my foundational macronutrients and what do I need to do, how do we get from macro tracking to mindful eating? And that's what you learn in the Mindful Over Macros framework. The next thing that you will need is a personalized, and I'll fix this in a second, fitness regimen. Like I said earlier, you can find literally any workout plan, any diet plan on the internet. But again, if it's not for you and your lifestyle, so you don't have to be stuck in the gym for 2 hours a day doing endless amounts of cardio and lifting. It doesn't have to be like that. It gets to be enjoyable, which then makes it more sustainable. So whether you like hiking, swimming, dancing, you can incorporate these things. And once you find something that works for you, that's sustainable long-term, you're going to want to continue to do it. Your motivation will be up. You'll be excited about it. And that's what's going to help you sustain it. Okay. So the last piece that you'll need, which most things that you'll find out there aren't centered around this, is your mindset transformation. So what I mean by this is improving your body image and relating your journey back to Jesus. So with this body image and also improving relationship with food. So with this, that means, being intentional with the foods that you're eating, transforming your mindset around it, because sometimes we just work out of our subconscious mind. So what you've learned in your childhood, whether it's you can't leave the table until your plate's completely clean, right? You have to finish your entire meal in order for you to move on with your life. Those are things that we carry into adulthood and sometimes hold us back from really getting to where we want to be. So once we start recognizing what our patterns are, we become aware of it and we start to unlearn them and learn new habits. If you can already tell, it will help you transform everything else, which in turn will equal into weight loss. So that's the mindset transformation. It's also all of this is relating it back to Christ. So how can we take our accountability, mindful over macros, fitness, and mindset, and bring it back to Jesus? It's about including him in every single part of the journey. So when you include that with prayer, accountability, and everything else, it's inevitable that you'll reach your results. And the reason why this is different, why it works, you're probably thinking like, oh, this is just another diet plan. I don't know if this will work for me. It works because it's not just following a new diet plan. It's not just following a new fitness program. It's actually changing the way that you view yourself, your journey, and everything that you've ever done in the past, and actually tuning in to who God has made you to be, what he has created your body to do. And then you start taking action in a way that reflects him instead of, acting out of our flesh. So this is how you can get from point A of always dieting on the yo-yo cycle, feeling inadequate, not reaching your goals, just feeling stuck, to the point of food freedom, confidence in your body, sustainability, never going back to a diet again. Like, could you imagine that? It's possible for you. And if you feel like this is something that is relatable to you and you want to finally reach that next level of freedom, go ahead and click the link below to schedule a free discovery call with me. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this here. Yeah, click the link below to schedule a free discovery call with me. We can talk further about your goals, your struggles, all of the things that you're going through. And if I'm able to help you, we can definitely take those next steps forward with coaching. And if not, I hope you get a ton of value out of the call and that I can at least point you in the right direction. So go ahead and book that call below, or just shoot me a DM on Instagram to Faith Vines. And I'm more than happy to have that conversation with you and just see if it's the right fit for you. Well, thank you so much for coming to this training. I hope that you got some value out of this, something that you can apply. And if you have any questions, again, just DM me on Instagram or just go ahead and book that call below.